I'd like to welcome y'all back to another episode of Beyond the Fear podcast, a place where y'all come for motivation, inspiration, uplifting, and an overall positive message. I'm your host, DJ, and today's episode was honestly inspired by just me watching a few people talk about Deion Sanders in Colorado. And for the people who don't know who Deion Sanders is, he was a famous football player, one of the best, if not the best, corners to play in the NFL. He started coaching at Jackson State. Then he went from Jackson State to Colorado, and so it's a lot of buzz. Buzz follows him, right? He's been called prime time, and he's been that way from his time in college at Florida State to when he was with the Falcons to the Cowboys to the 49ers. Everywhere he goes, just the fans, the cameras, all of that stuff follows him. So I've just been paying attention all this week too, because college football getting ready to start up, and just paying attention to everything that's surrounding the school Colorado and surrounding prime time, and how much attention's being paid to them. Because before he got there, Colorado was not a good school. I think they went 1-13 or 1-12, 1-11, whatever it is. They only won one game before he got there. And then last year, his first year coaching there, I think they won like 4 games. So everybody's paying attention to what he's going to do this year. How much more do they improve this year, or whatever the case may be. And so as I'm watching um, him, or just watching the media cover him, it made me think about, man, you have people who just don't like you, right? You've done nothing personal to them. You've done nothing. And it could be something like they don't agree with you, or it could be something like they just envious of you, things like that. But my thing is, how much of it is envy and jealousy, and how much of it is, hey, I just don't agree with your philosophy, the way you move, the way you operate, things like that. And what I'm personally starting to see is that it's just people who, it feels like to me that it's just envy and jealousy. That's what it's starting to feel like, because and it's not because they don't like, or they say something against him or against the school. It's how hard they go about it, how intense they get about it, how personal they go trying to say something about it. That's where I have to take a step back and be like, is it really that? Because even if you don't agree with the way he handles his press conferences, or you don't agree with the way he's handling the team, or you feel like um he's given his son a lot of nepotism, or whatever the case may be. Even if you feel that way, that's cool. There's nothing wrong with feeling that way. There's nothing wrong, again, nothing wrong with having your opinion, feeling how you feel. But when some people are going to the extents that they're going to, and they're going as hard and as deep as they're going to, what feels like attack him, it's like, it feels personal. But, and I don't know this for a fact, but it just makes me, I only can think about it. I can only assume you don't know this man personally, but it feels so personal. It feels like you're literally attacking his character, you know what I'm saying, because of a press conference, or because he kicks a member of the media out. And it's just like, why is it that deep? Why is it that personal for you? Why do you care so much when you're writing your articles, and when you're doing this stuff? And it feels so personal, you know what I'm saying? It feels like you're just attacking him as a person, instead of bringing attention or awareness to whatever it is that he may have done, that you may find offensive, that you may feel like he did wrong, or he took the wrong steps. Cool, we're human. That happens, you know what I'm saying? We do make mistakes. We do make bad choices. We do slip up. So if that's what it is, then you know what I'm saying? My thing is, like, write it, bring attention to it, you know what I'm saying? But it's like, they don't just bring attention to it. They go out of their way to attack his character, or attack who he is, or just make it way personal than I feel it should be. And it just kind of got me to thinking that, man, you just have people out there who don't like you, because you're doing something that they're not, or you're doing something that they want to do, or you're doing something that they tried and it didn't work out, or it wasn't working the way they wanted, so they gave up. And I mean, and to me, it's just so frustrating to see stuff like that, because I'm not gonna sit here and lie and act like I've never seen somebody doing something and being successful, and I've never thought, man, I wish that was me, or man, I wish I could be in their shoes, or man, what would I do if I was in that situation, or if I was doing what they were doing. I'm not gonna sit and act like I've never seen somebody on TV or seen somebody on YouTube or whatever and thought to myself, man, it would be nice to be in that person's shoes, or man, it would be nice to have what they have. But I've never thought, let me tear this person down because they have it. Let me do this because let me hurt or harm this person, whether it be physical, psychological, emotional, whatever. Let me do harm to this person because of what they have, or they're in a spot that I want to be in. No, it's never been that. I've also been the type of person, because you are where you are, I'm like, no, they deserve to be. I'm assuming that they deserve to be there because they put the work in, or because opportunities fell the way they needed to fall, or because they were they happen to be raised in the right family. You know what I'm saying? Whatever the case may be, I don't knock anybody for getting to where they are for whatever reasons. Whether, like I said, whether it was your parents, your grandparents did all the work, you're just reaping the benefits, or your parents went out, worked hard, got those jobs, made those connections, and you're reaping those benefits, or you went out, did the work yourself, made those connections yourself, and now you're reaping the benefits. My thing is, I'm not trying to tear anybody down to get to where they are. They are where they are for whatever reasons, maybe whether it was through their own hard work or people around them, the connections, whatever it is, they're where they need to be. And if I want to be there, I got to go do the work, because unfortunately, I wasn't put in a position to where my family had a bunch of resources or a bunch of connections to where all I had to do was say, hey, I want to go do this. And you know what I'm saying? But I'm not going to knock anybody who has that, because you know what I'm saying? They can put you in those positions, but you still got to go do the work to stay there. You still got to go do the work to, you know what I'm saying, to get what you want. You know what I'm saying? So I'm never going to knock anybody who's in a place of wherever they want to be, but you know what I'm saying, they got it through connections as opposed to having to get it out the mud. Like, I know you have your people who respect it more when you get it out the mud, when you come from nothing and you go get it. I'm one of those people who respect it regardless. If you can tune, I give a ton of respect and a ton of credit to those who go and get it out the mud. I do, because I know how hard that is. I know how much harder that is. Your road is definitely harder. I'm not sitting here saying y'all the roads are equally hard. They're not. What I'm saying is, though, is that there's still hard work on that other side, because even if everything or a lot of things are handed to you, at some point you got to go do the work. At some point you now, obviously, like I said, you don't have to do as much work as the person who has to go get it, you know what I'm saying, from nothing, got to go get it out the mud. But for the person who's been handed a lot of things, at some point you still got to go do that work, and you still got to go, do what you need to do to stay where you are, because you know what I'm saying, they're not going to just hand it, and everything's not just going to be handed to you. At some point you got to go, prove your worth, you know what I'm saying? And I get it that no, who knows when that comes, but that's at some point it comes. So of course I'm going to give a lot of love, a lot of appreciation, a lot of respect, a lot of, admiration to those people who go get it out the mud. But I'm also not going to sit here and talk mess or hate on the person who gets it because of the connections or their family or whatever it is. They got it the way they got it. My thing is, you get it the way you get it. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm a firm believer in what's meant for you will be meant for you, and they can't take it. So the hard work that you put in to get it out the mud and to get to where you are, they can't take that from you. Now, granted, somebody can show up right where you are and not had to do half the work, had not had to do, you know what I'm saying, or even any of the work to get to where you are. But don't let that discourage you, because you got to remember, like in times like that, you got to take a full 60 view. Don't just look to your left or look to your right and see that person who didn't have to work. You got to also make sure that you take the time to look back and remember where you came from, and then look forward and see where you are now and realize you've come a long way from where you used to be and from who you used to be to where you are now. You know what I'm saying? And let that fuel you to keep moving forward. Don't let the fact that this person who right beside you who didn't have to do nowhere near as much work as you, don't let that discourage you. Let that motivate you. Let the fact that you gotten to this point motivate you. Remember all that hard work and don't forget it. Get back into that grind mode, get back into that hard work and go get to that next step and then that next step and things like that. But don't let it discourage you because somebody is doing something that you want to, somebody, y'all may be doing the same thing, but y'all didn't have to work the same. Understand that your race is your race, your lane is your lane, your drive is your drive, and it's not the next person's. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's journey and everybody walks of life are different. We all start at different starting points. You know what I'm saying? Life isn't fair. That's just how it goes. Some of us start further back. Some of us start further down the mountain. Others start way closer to the top of the mountain. Some of us some of us even start damn near at the top of the mountain. So it is what it is. It's not fair. That's why you got to focus on your race, because if you're too busy focusing on how easily other people are getting it, then that can discourage you. And now you off balance and now you're not focusing and now you're off course. And now you're somewhere you have no business being because you're too busy worrying about what other people have or how they're getting it. And they're not working as hard as you. So they don't deserve, just because they haven't had to work as hard as you. We don't know what they went through. We don't know. It's not up for us to decide who deserves what. Just focus on what you're working to go get. Focus on what's in front of you. You know what's in front of you. You know what you're working to get. You know what your goal is. You know the point of you getting up every morning, you grinding, you doing what you need to do. You know where you're trying to go. Focus on that. And then, like I said, when you get to that goal and you can't find no more motivation, you know what I'm saying? You can always look back, take a glance back, and realize how far you've come from who you used to be or from what your circumstances used to be. And I'm pretty sure that should motivate. I'm pretty sure that's going to motivate you in some form or fashion to figure out the next goal. You know what I'm saying? And then once you hit that, the next goal, and then the next goal, and so on and so forth. But quit letting, just because you see other people getting to where you are and they haven't had to work as hard as you, quit letting that discourage you, because you got to realize life is not fair. Everybody's not going to start at your starting point. Some people are going to have half of their race already done before they even start because of the resources and because of who they are or what their last name is. That's just life. You know what I'm saying? It ain't fair, but it is what it is. We all know that Beyonce and Jay-Z's kids, just celebrities in the period, I don't need to name drop, celebrities period, a lot of their kids are going to start their races in better positions than we are, than people without. You know, that's just a fact. It just is what it is. It's not fair, but it's life. You know what I'm saying? You can spend hours of your day complaining about that, or you can just take those same hours that you were going to spend complaining and put the work in, make up the gap, make up that distance, keep doing what you need to do to get your race and to get to where you need to go to get to your goals. Because even if your goal is the same as that celebrity's kids goals, even if it's the same goal, y'all route to get there is not going to be the same. Y'all process to get to where y'all need to get to is not going to be the same. Y'all speed of getting there is not going to be the same. So you can't focus on the things you can't control. You can't control what family you come from. You can't control what the other people are doing. What you can control is your race, your focus, your determination, how hard you want to go. These are the things that you can focus on. These are the things that you can affect. You can affect your preparations and the things that you want to do and the things that you want to go after and how hard you want to go and your mental mindset, and not falling in that trap of comparing yourself to others. You can control that. Like, you know what I'm saying? You can control not hating on this person, that person, because they're in a better position than you, or because they didn't have to work as hard as you to get to those positions. That's life. And that's something that I personally had to learn. You know what I'm saying? Because for a little while, I was kind of trying to compare, myself and my podcast to what everybody else is doing. And I got caught up in it and I got discouraged. So I'm not telling you something that I haven't gone through or am going through. You know what I'm saying? I'm not above it. I'm human. So I have gone through it, but I'm learning from it, and I'm learning to just focus on me, focus on what I got going on. I'm not, if I do watch other podcasts, I'm watching it for entertainment. I'm watching it because I enjoy it. I'm not watching it and being like, oh, why isn't mine like this? Why isn't mine like that? I mean, I may watch it and I may think, man, I can't wait to get there. I can't wait to, you know, get to the point to where I'm interviewing that person or this and that, because those become goals for me. Those become things that I want to reach. It becomes motivation, as opposed to me saying, why don't I have that? Why isn't mine like that? I say, man, I can't wait to get to that point. I can't wait to reach that point. You know what I'm saying? They become destinations instead of comparisons. You know what I'm saying? They become goals. They become milestones. They become things that I want to do, things that are driving me to keep going and to keep pushing, to keep moving one step in front of the other, because I want to get there, as opposed to me sitting here being sad and, what I'm saying, trying to compare, why don't I have this to them, not knowing what their year one looked like, not knowing what their year two looked like, you know what I'm saying, not knowing how long they've been doing this and how long it took them to get to that point. All I see is them at that point, and I'm trying to compare. At the time, I was trying to compare my year one to their, who knows, they might be in year 6, year 7, you know what I'm saying? And, that's when you start to get in your own head, and again, I'm talking from experience with this. We got to stop doing that. You have to stop doing that. If you know that that's something that you do, you got to stop doing that, because you're killing your own motivation. You're killing your own dreams, and you're fueling and you're feeding your self doubt, and like they say, self doubt is the killer of a lot of dreams, way more dreams than failure. Because with self doubt, you don't even try. So you don't even give yourself a chance to fail, because you never do anything. You never get up and go try whatever it is that you wanted to try, or go do whatever it is that you want to do. So you don't even give yourself the chance to fail, because you don't try, because you fed your self doubt for so long. And again, that's something that I know a lot about, because that was my life for so long. So, you know what I'm saying? So I'm still struggling with it, but I'm doing a lot better with it. And I'm starting to learn how to look at things and see them as goals, or see them as milestones, see them as plateaus or steps to reach to my ultimate goal, as opposed to looking at it and trying to compare it to where I am now, because that's unrealistic. I don't have the resources. I don't have any of those things to start where someone's year 7 is. I just don't. And I had to realize that, and I had to accept that. And now that I have realized it and I have accepted it, I can see someone in their year 7 enjoying what they're having, enjoying what they're doing, understanding that there may be 6, 5, 4 years of whatever it is of struggle in there to get to where they are now. And so, you know what I'm saying, I can sit back and I can be like, man, that's good. I'm glad they made it. You know what I'm saying? I can use that as motivation of, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I may have to go through my struggle, however long my struggle may be. My struggle may be 3, 4 years. But if it's something that I really want, if I really want this podcast and I really wanted to grow, and it's something that I really want to do, I have to work at it, and I have to understand that it's not going to be instant. It's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take time. It's going to take work. And once I start to get the numbers, or get the views, or get the things that I'm looking for, I can look back on these podcasts and I can say, man, I remember those beginning days where I'm just in my room sitting on this chair, talking into that camera, and look how far I've come. I can have that moment of wow, you know what I'm saying? But if I want that moment of wow, I gotta go through these dog days. I gotta go through these days of Remembering my why. That's something that my therapist tell me. Remembering my why. So these are my days when I always have to remember my why, but I definitely have to remember it now because some days I'm not as motivated. Some days, you know, it's not as easy to get up and do the podcast. You know what I'm saying? Because every now and then, just being honest, I do lose focus. I have lost focus before of why I started doing this, and I had to get back to the basic as far as why I started doing this, who I wanted to help, who I was doing this for. You know what I'm saying? And so I say all of that to say you just have to stay focused on what it is that you want. And honestly, ask yourself, is this something that you really want? Or is this someone else's goal or someone else's plan or someone else's dream that you're trying to help them fulfill? Or is it something that they want you to do? Or is it something that you genuinely want for yourself? These are questions that you need to be asking yourself. Like, is this your dream or is this your dad's dream or your mom's dream or certain members of your family, grandparents, whoever it is? Is this their dreams? You know what I'm saying? Or is it yours? And if it is yours, you got to get back to the why you wanted that. What made this dream, something that you really wanted? What made it important for you? What made it an actual goal for you? Something that you genuinely wanted for yourself, you know, because there you're gonna have your days, right? You're gonna have your moments, your stretches where you're not motivated, and that's where you got to stay disciplined. And that's where I'm working on. That's where I'm working to get better is my discipline. So even when I'm not motivated, I'm still getting up, doing what I need to do. I'm still cutting my clips. I'm still posting. I'm still engaging. I'm still promoting, the podcast. I'm still doing those things even when I'm not motivated to do it, and that's where I'm working better. That's why I'm working to get better is with my discipline, to stay disciplined even during the days when I'm not motivated. Obviously, on the days or the stretches when I'm motivated, it's easy to do. It don't feel like work, but for whatever reason, when I'm not motivated, whatever reason has me not motivated, when I'm not motivated, that's when the discipline has to kick in, and that's where I'm working to gain that discipline to keep pushing through to my days when I'm struggling to find my why, and when I'm struggling to stay motivated to do what I need to do during those times. That's when the discipline will kick in. But I have to work on it because my discipline isn't where I need it to be. Just me having an honest look at myself, me assessing myself in an honest way. I know that my motivation isn't where it needs to be. And I know that well, my motivation isn't, but meant to say my discipline. I know my discipline isn't where it needs to be, but I am working on it to get to where I need it to be. So that way it can be more of a seamless thing for me. Even when I'm not motivated, I can keep going, keep grinding because, I'm trying to get to where I need to be. But the, the important thing for me right now, like I said, is just continuing to remember my why and focus on me, focus on what I got going on and not getting mad at other people because they may be where I want to be. But I also have to remember that I don't know how long it took them to get there. I'm only seeing the result of I'm only seeing at this point in time their end product. I'm not seeing how many years they had to put in to get there. I'm not seeing the struggles and the setbacks that it took them to get there. I'm not seeing any of that. All I'm seeing is the success. And I have to remind myself that they started somewhere too. You know what I'm saying? They had a day one too. They had a year one as well. And and I have to and I had to just stop comparing, as that was probably my biggest problem, is just comparing. Like, you see all these people in a place where you want to be. So and I don't know if it's human nature, and I don't, or if it's just me, but it was, for the longest time, it was a natural thing to just picture yourself in that situation and how amazing that would be. And again, depending on who you are, I'm not telling you not to do that or to do that. You gotta know yourself well enough to know that if you do that, is that going to put you in a bad headspace? Is that going to put you in a depression? Because once you snap back to reality, you know that's not your reality, is that going to bother you? So I can't tell you to do that or not do that. You have to know yourself enough to do that. And so what I had to realize is it's just better for me to see those things and be like, man, I can't wait to have that. I can't wait to have a nice setup, or I can't wait to have the house where I can have a room dedicated to the podcast, or have a studio, or whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? These are things that I think about, and those are things now that fuel me as opposed to discourage me, because I'm no longer comparing. I'm just saying, I want that. I want to be in those positions. I want to see myself doing those things. I know that I have to work to get there. I know that it's going to be a grind to get there, but it'll be worth it. I just have to I have to start working on my focus. I have to start working on my motivation. I have to start working on my discipline, because I know these are things that I'm going to need to get there, because I know no matter what route I take, that's not going to be an easy road. That's not going to be a road that I just wake up and just have it. No, it's guys going to take me putting in the work, putting in the time on social media, me engaging, me promoting, me doing the things that I need to do, things that I know that I'm not. I can't even say that I'm well at, because I don't even know if I'm well at it or not. I'm just inexperienced, and a lot of times I'm unmotivated to even try. So I don't even know. I could be great at it. It's just, I haven't done it enough, or I haven't done it. Yeah, I haven't done it enough to even know, or to even see if I'm well at it. So who knows how good I could be at those things. I have to start trying to do them, to even give myself a fair assessment as to, if it's something that I need to do. But it's something that I'm going to have to do regardless. And at some point, I will have somebody who can help me out with that. But for now, it's something that I have to do. It's something that I need to do. You know what I'm saying? So that way I can build my motivation and build, my confidence in the things that and you know what I'm saying, the things that I want to do, because those are things that I also want to work on, is my confidence and is my motivation that I've talked about before. So these are things that'll help me do that. I just have to continue pushing myself, you know what I'm saying? And as someone who spent most of their life quitting on themselves and not doing what they need to do, it is not the easiest thing for me, because again, my normal thing would just be to quit because things aren't going the way I wanted to do. They aren't going the way I want them to go. So my natural thing would just be to quit and go try something else, go try something that may be a little easier. But I also had to ask myself, and even my therapist asked me, like, where has that gotten me in life? Constantly running, constantly quitting, constantly trying to find an easier way or an easier route. Where has it gotten me? And honestly, it's gotten me nowhere, just in a running in circles, and always ending up at the starting point of a new race. No matter how far I may have gotten in one race, once it gets hard, now I'm starting all over in a new race. So I don't want to start over. I don't want to have to do another starting point. So for me, the goal is to finish this race, or yeah, to finish this race, to hit those milestones, to get to those goals. You know what I'm saying? So I've started writing my goals down. I've started writing the very specific things that I want for my podcast, the places that I want to go, the things that I want to do, the places I want to be, the people that I want to interview. You know what I'm saying? I've started writing those things down. And so the overall goal is to finish the race. You know what I'm saying? For one of the very first, for like, you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that I haven't finished anything, but it's very few. I've quit way more things than I've finished. So the overall goal, the main goal, is just to finish the race and to keep going, make it through, these struggle times, to get to where I need to be. And I know that there are going to be more struggle times that come, but the goal is to get rid of this quitter's mentality and to keep pushing for what I want. If I'm serious about wanting it, if I really want it, then I gotta go fight for it. I gotta go grab it. I gotta go make these opportunities for myself, because nobody's gonna do it for me. Nobody's gonna put a great opportunity in my lap. I gotta go get it. I gotta go grab it. I gotta go achieve those things that I want. And so that's what I'm pushing for. That's what I want to have for myself. And I know it won't be easy, but I know that it will be worth it. So, my message to anyone listening to this episode is stop waiting for your opportunities to come, and go grab your opportunities. Stop waiting on somebody to hand it to you, and go get it. Go fight for those things that you want. You know what I'm saying? Go fight for that job. Go fight for that opportunity. Go fight for whatever it is that you want, that, you know what I'm saying, maybe within your grasp. Go fight for it. Tell yourself that you want it, and go get it. And I'm not saying it's going to be easy. I'm not saying it's going to take you a few days. I don't know how long it's going to take you. I don't know how easy or how hard your journey is going to be. But if it's worth having, if it's something that you really want, you have to be serious about the fight. You got to be serious about the struggle. You got to be serious about going through the hard times to get or to keep what you have, or with the things that you want. And don't get mad at the people who are in the places, who are already in the places that you want to be in, because you don't know what they had to go through. You don't know their story. You don't know the struggle. You don't know the path that they had to take. Focus on your path, focus on your story, focus on the things that you can take care of to get to where you want to be, because all that's going to do is help you. Use that as fuel, use it as motivation, use it as, whatever it is that you need to use it for, to help you get on your journey. But don't compare. Their journey is their journey. Their starting point is their starting point. Your starting point and your journey are yours. Keep those things separate. If you want to use it as motivation, because that's what helps you, you know yourself enough to know that that's what helps you, then use it as motivation and let it help you. But don't start comparing and then getting into, this point of despair and things like that. Don't let that stuff discourage you. Let it motivate you. But stop comparing. Your journey is your journey, and the things that are for you and nobody else. So that's all I wanted to say. And I just want to thank everybody for listening on whatever platforms y'all are listening on. It's greatly appreciated. And to everybody watching on YouTube, I just want to say thank you. Please continue to watch, like, comment, subscribe, and share. And I want to tell y'all that I love y'all, and y'all have a blessed day.